All right, hey AlphaGo fans, I'm Jonathan Hop, and I'm going to talk about the AlphaGo versus Lee Sedol game today because I'm super excited. That was amazing. To be perfectly blunt, I did call out. I wanted to say that AlphaGo would probably beat Lee Sedol all 5 games. I was being a little bit trying to push the envelope, but actually it looks like AlphaGo is actually stronger than Lee Sedol. I mean, Iseda is like one of the top Korean professionals for over a decade. I mean, maybe he's a little bit older now, maybe not as energetic as some of the younger players like Ke Jie or any of the other like younger Chinese pros. Because I think he lost to Ke Jie a couple times recently. But Iseda is like really, really strong. So like a computer to be able to like dominate him, it wasn't even close, right? Because he's like resigned all 3 times. And it wasn't he died, he just got crushed. Like AlphaGo, like I wrote this in my blog, but AlphaGo is like playing a brick wall. Like you're punching a brick wall. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what kind of complications you try. Like it has its eye on the prize the entire time. And if you slip up once, it will just take the lead. And it doesn't. It has no greed. It's not a human. It doesn't feel greed. It just if it wins by 1 point or wins by 50 points, who cares? It's a win. So I mean, I want people to kind of appreciate this. So I'm going to talk a little bit. I'm only a 4 dan, right? So obviously Michael Redmond knows way more than I do about the games. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I'm just super excited. I wanted to kind of show like what my feeling was, kind of as a pretty good amateur, like watching the games. Like maybe people who don't play Go can kind of understand like why this is so exciting and how this was a total victory for AlphaGo. All right, so here's the game. Basically, this is pretty normal. There's nothing really abnormal about this. This is called the High Chinese. These 3 stones right here. 族的流 in Chinese. It's like the Chen. There's an old player. His name is Chen Zude, and I think he's credited with this opening. The idea basically is that Black is going to build the upper side of the board. So when we put stones in this section, we're trying to make a framework, right? A territorial framework, saying we're going to make this into territory later. All right, so that means that this area up top is basically Chinese style. So Black plays this. This is actually the style now. Usually people would obviously play like one move up like this to try to play all center stones, right? To try to make the center as deep and as big as possible. But nowadays players like territory. They like to have cash in hand, all right? No investments. Don't talk to me about what I'll make tomorrow. I want the cash straight in my hand. So the interesting part of the game is when white invades, all right? So you can think of this as 2 competing frameworks, right? There's one territorial framework basically going like along this line. I'm just going to do a rough estimate. This is not exact. But basically, Black is looking to take this part of the board, and White is looking to take this section of the board, somewhere around here, all right? So we've got 2 competing frameworks. Black's framework is currently bigger than White's framework, so it's pretty obvious White wants to come in and say, okay, listen, you can't take the whole thing. You can have part of it, but not the whole thing. All right. Black plays this is super normal, and this is also super normal. And then we start a fight, and so I thought to myself, wow, like, that's pretty rough, right? Normally you might play something like this, right? And so White gets to break up this area. This stone may die. This stone may totally die, but we don't really care about this stone, right? We can't save everybody. White will probably want to play like lightly in here, which means that we don't emphasize a single stone. But instead, Black decided to just start with the jabs, right? He started to fight, right? It's like I said before, it's like punching your brick wall. Like you're really going all out against this guy, and it doesn't matter. He doesn't care. He doesn't feel. He doesn't nothing. So White doesn't even try to fight. Like so. Here's what I mean. Like moves like this would be like what I would think of normally first, and that this might get to be pretty hard for Black actually. White could even try to fight back, but instead White just basically says, "Okay, fine. I will try to enclose your corner group here so it becomes weaker." Okay. So Black and White fight. All right. No, actually, White is splitting Black. This group and this Black group are not connected to each other, and White's stone here looks to be pretty weak. But as you see, as the fight kind of goes on, right? So White comes out, right? This stone and this stone are their connections pretty weak, so I can walk right in between them. And there's no cutting, right? There's no cutting here whatsoever. Okay, there's no cuts, so that means that connection's pretty solid. So what Black pushes, right? And now it looks like we don't know who's attacking whom, right? So we're fighting though. That's pretty cool, right? So White plays this, leaves a little bit of bad possibilities with these two moves or weaknesses. And this, I didn't know what to make of this. This is not what I thought anyone would play. I mean, I really would like to know if anyone actually saw this move. Maybe it just surprised me, but maybe not other people, because I was thinking more like, okay, White's group is weak here. I was thinking more something along the lines of this, or even just basically running out, something like maybe a fast move like this. All right, I was just thinking, just get to the center. Your group is weak. You may not be able to attack these three black stones very efficiently. Just try to get out. Nope. Alpha goes like, it doesn't care. It doesn't care. So it says white is weak and black is weak. But after this fight happened, white was relatively speaking stronger than black, and it doesn't really matter if both groups are weak as long as one group is stronger than the other. That's the part that I found really astounding. So we play a few more moves, right? And then they cut each other off, and this is extremely complicated. Okay, and at the end of it, white comes out like this, and then I thought to myself, wait a second, you're right. This group is heavy. This black group, black cannot afford to lose this, and all the moves are solidly connected, so he can't throw away a stone. He either throws away the whole group, and he dies, or he gets out with them. So there's no going back. So black plays this, and then white comes back here to protect his group, and this is efficient. It attacks the stone, it defends this side, and because there's nothing weak over here, it makes this group stronger on this side. So in which case, white continues to attack black, and now we've got two weak groups. And normally with human players, like, you have two weak groups, and you're both going to run out to the center. But white is stronger than black, actually. If you think about the corner, this is what occurred to me later on in the game when white played this. When you think about the corner, if white gets moves like this, like in here, right? Let's put black somewhere over here, okay? White gets moves like this, then when white attacks the corner, he can play some moves over here and Sente and get nigh. Which means that this group is actually a lot stronger than it looks. Right, so white's group here is actually is a lot stronger than it actually appears to be. Even when black has moves like this, essentially. Okay, like maybe black should play this now actually to try to squeeze white for liberties. But the problem is that now even if you squeeze white for liberties for eye space, I mean, he still has more liberties than you. All right, and since this is strong, this black group is very weak and heavy. It's just astounding to me. So here we go. We continue the game. All right, both players come out, and again, white is just relatively speaking stronger than black. This black group is actually weaker than this white group. And then we play this move, and this blew my mind. It's total global thinking, right? It says, okay, listen, yes, you can connect out and do a fancy little thing where you come over here, but let's look let's look at a cost benefit analysis. This is, yes, black's group will live, but if this white group is not that weak, if for some reason white decides that this group is, you can make life with it, or you can reasonably make two eyes, then this is a good trade-off for white. I would much rather get this move to aim at this area. This area, look at this area, it's huge. It's ginormous. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 40, it's 48, 50. Let's say it's 50. Let's just say it's a clean 50. 50 points. I'll take it. What does black get in return? Nothing. Nothing of any value. Maybe 5 points. Maybe 6 points. So this is one of those moves where it's just like, wow. But at the same time, it's not probably something a human would play. I mean, a human might try to attack the black group, right? Like, I don't know, something like this. Something to try to KO that group, to kill this group immediately. I mean, or just start off with this maybe, like something to that effect. Or to cut the two off. But I never thought in my wildest dreams that, you play a move like this. It says, yeah, just go ahead and connect. I really don't care. It doesn't matter to me all that much. And it's got this eye on the prize. So I think the computer actually, what it's done is, there's a proverb in Go about greed, right? The greed, when you're too greedy in this game, you get punished. I mean, I've been playing Go for about 10 years or so. When you're greedy, you get punished badly. There is such a thing as getting too much. And sometimes you have to accept in the position that you're only going to get this much and no further. And so in this case, I kind of feel like white never ever gets greedy. White, maybe it's because of the algorithm. Maybe the way it's always going for the highest probability of success when it looks through different variation trees. But it's never greedy. It never ever tries to go for more than what is safe to win. Okay, and that's all it really matters in Go. It doesn't matter if you win by half a point at the end. Whatever is the safest variation to win is what you play. And usually human players know this, but what they end up doing is that they let their emotions take them. Like me, for example, I can get very emotional, start fighting for no reason, and then they lose a one game. They lose a game where they had a really good position, and then they lose it. AlphaGo's not going to do that. It's just breathtaking to me. So we play all this, and then now White's got his framework on the bottom side, and this is 50 points. I mean, some of you people don't play Go, but can you imagine, if you're just 50 points, like you're just in a race, right, and your opponent just speeds, like, you just have one lap around the course ahead of you, one lap, 2 laps. I mean, it just feels like they're just so far ahead, and what's even worse is that this upper side black. I mean, where are Black's prospects? Where are Black's stones? These are all useless. All these stones here, if this white group does not die, then they're useless. They're basically useless. Whereas these stones are super efficient with maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe, well, let's say White invests 8 or 9 stones, he makes 50 points. He makes up for all of the inefficiency of these stones. Whereas Black cannot say the same. Black only has this as a potential area. There's nowhere else for him to go. So they play this, and I guess Black is thinking that maybe because it's a computer it can't do Ko, but I don't know. I've been listening to some Chinese commentators on the game, and everyone's pretty much blown away. They figure a computer can't play out a Ko fight, but I kind of thought to myself that's going to be a really bad strategy against AlphaGo. I wouldn't want to bet the game on whether or not it can read out a Ko. It seems to do pretty fine with reading. Okay, so this may look like a really weird move to some beginners, but it's a leaning attack. So White here is weak. I still think Black should probably play something like this first, and kind of wring out its eyes, like just squeeze it a little bit, so that it doesn't have as much power to attack later. Or power to make eyes later. Like, you got to make sure those eyes stay weak. Like, you can't directly kill this right now because you need a very strong wall in this area to surround the whole thing. But what you can do now is you can make it so that White's always going to keep his eye on this group. Okay, so this is a leaning attack. What we're going to do is we're going to try, because Black has no stones here. That was the other big thing about this game, was that Black never seemed to have stones in the most efficient areas. White was always there first. And it was just spooky to me. Like, it's like, wow, okay, this is the biggest part of the board, and Black has nothing invested here. So we have to start doing something. We're going to fight. So we play, like, these loose moves. Okay, and White plays ultra solidly. Like, this is a brick wall. This is punching a brick wall. Where are your weaknesses? There are no weaknesses. It doesn't play complicated for the sake of playing complicated. It just played these moves that are all super solid. I can't find a weakness. In fact, these exchanges, I personally think, this entire sequence made these moves so much better over here. So, like, now, this is all territory. So I think if Black is going to play a move like this, his loss both locally and globally, I mean, that's what was mind-bending. His loss globally and locally were huge. Just huge. I mean, obviously I'm not half as strong as either of them, but that was my feeling when I got during the game. Alright, so Black plays this. And here, so when Black surrounds, White just says, okay, that's cool. I will just make life. Okay, and if White's alive, then these 2 stones are useless. I mean, these 2 stones right here. If White is alive in this area, then logically these 2 stones are completely useless. And you might be saying, well, that's not unfair. No, this group is alive. If White A is alive, and White B is alive, and they're cutting 2 living groups, right? And then Black is stuck behind enemy lines, having to live. And White will let him live, because letting him live in Gote is good enough. And now White plays this, and White wins. I really seriously think White's won. There's nothing to really look forward past here, because this is like, if look at this box, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 40, 50 points, right? 50 points. And this group up here, while it's not necessarily alive yet, the way to kill it is not there. Like these stones are nowhere near strong enough. The wall is not solid enough to completely surround this white group without getting punched, right? So if you're trying to capture your opponent, right, you're trying to build a wall around them so that you can grab them. You got to make sure that your wall doesn't have any holes in it, because if it has a hole in it, your lunch will go free, right? It will escape. Okay, this is big. Okay, this is just worth a lot of points. Now this was so cool to me. By making this shape white, like white's alive now. Like white is very much very strong. Like if white adds another move, let's say what black whatever, white's alive now. Okay, white's alive now. White lives, and he used this corner to get these moves on the outside. And if white is alive and this white group is strong, then these two moves, this leaning attack wasn't really a leaning attack. I mean, what really. I mean, that's the depth of this play that I'm seeing from like the computer. Like if this happens, this corner move. If I have this sequence, which I can always play, and make sure my group is alive, then your group over here, these two stones, these two useless stones, help me to build this. Ta-da! All right, so black plays this, and I'm feeling Lee Sedol's just squirming at this point. I know he tried his best. Like he really tried his best. Lee Sedol's an amazing player. Okay, Lee Sedol is Lee Sedol. I speak Korean. I should say his name right. Lee Sedol is an excellent player. Like even for people who say that he's lost against Klidje, like in the past 2 games, and maybe he's not as strong as he used to be or whatever. He's a great player, and he was a real good test for AlphaGo to see how far the program has come, and it clearly has come a long way. This is another move. Punching a brick wall. Like black feels helpless. Like if you're black, there is nothing to do down here. There is nothing to do down here. I mean, like, it just doesn't seem like it. I mean, you can at least, it would take someone of Lee Sedol's caliber to figure out a sequence of moves to make life behind these lines, because white is so strong. It is going to be so hard to make a living group in this area. Like it just, my feeling is just, it's foreboding. And so when your opponent has as many points, it feels like, and you don't have prospects. You have a little here, you have a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit there. Whereas he has this big honking piece of land, right? And he can start reducing yours pretty quickly. This is a calm move. This says this group, it identified this group as the weakest group on the board. It defended it, and it erases black's potential territory towards this area. And it could possibly lead an attack on these stones in the middle to increase white's territory. And it basically says, I'm winning. And there's nothing you can do about it. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter what sequence you come up with. I am winning, and that's like what I meant when I said this is it's playing AlphaGo is like punching a brick wall. All right, so we have to come in. There's nothing we can do about it. If we don't, if white makes his entire bottom territory, black automatically loses. So I have to hand it to Lee Sedol. I would never have thought of this. Like this is the move I would not have thought of. These ones I actually did think about this one. When he played this, I thought about this one, because then white will play this and you can come under like that. But this is the one I thought to myself, wow, that's pretty cool. And then what we end up happening is maybe at some point, maybe letting white get this move here is not so good. Maybe we need to play once more. Although I'm really not sure at this point. Like let's say, maybe a ko, right? Yeah, the reason I say that is because when white eventually gets this move, it means that black only gets maybe like an eye at most, right? So it may be much better for him. Also, it's also another cool thing. This is not Sente. It's not Sente. It doesn't matter if those stones die. So you can just play like this, and it's just not Sente. That's just amazing to me. So we start a ko, and this is where people thought. Like I read an article a couple of days ago on Xinhua, which is a Chinese magazine. They have a Go section, and they said possibly that one of the weaknesses from the computer might be that it can't play out ko. Yes, it can. It can play out ko, and it probably plays it like the most efficient way that there is. So we play out some code threats, and these are the only code threats Black has. Black has to play a code threat to kill a large, sizable portion of the board, or my personal theory is that AlphaGo already figured out it had more code threats, and there was no need to give up anything. Punching a brick wall. There's no need for me to give up anything. You can play whatever you want in here, little human. You can make as many codes as you want. There is no level of randomness. I have everything worked out. So that's another thing when you play with a human. Codes kind of give the game, like, this is not a random game. It's a game of, like, perfect information where, like, I know what you're doing and you can know what I'm doing. It's just strategy. There's no cars, there's no spinners, there's no dice. And so basically the co kind of, what I mean by co is this. So like this area where white takes and black cannot take back immediately because otherwise the game would stop. Both players would go take back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So you have to play somewhere else on the board first. Now, white could fill or white could answer. And basically the idea is that if your opponent fills and doesn't answer, then you have some sort of move that will make them pay a price elsewhere on the board, right? So you're gonna make them lose some stones or kill a group or something like that. So my thought is actually the code threats, maybe white actually counted out the number of code threats that it needed, and it doesn't actually need to give up anything. Because once we get to this point, black's done. Like, black is completely done. And I stood at my screen when this was all done. I was literally staring at my screen in disbelief. I was like, I was just kidding. I was just kidding about, like, the 5-0. Like, wow. And I can imagine, one thing that I kind of felt that was cool about AlphaGo, especially the way the Chinese and Korean and Japanese pros have sort of reacted to it from what I've been reading, is that, like, in chess, for example, people were really afraid that, you know, if a computer beats a human player, then no one's going to play chess anymore, right? There's no point in playing chess. It's been solved. And that hasn't really happened, right? Actually, you know, and in many cases, chess pros have sometimes, you know, one of their reactions was they didn't really want to play the computer because they felt that it would be the end of their career, like they couldn't do anything with it. Pros, on the other hand, in Go, I mean, these guys are really impressive. What I mean by that is that they've basically said that they see this as a way to improve their game, right? They see AlphaGo and any other Go program that they come up with in the future as a way for them to understand the mystery of Go. Like, they'd love something to help them because this game is so complicated. It's just so open to whatever you want to do, and it gets so ridiculously complicated that you know, like, wouldn't it be nice to be able to train against something that could give you the right answer, that there actually is the correct move or the correct answer in a very vague position. I mean, because how many people really? I mean, this is the move. If we go all the way back, my favorite move of the whole game. Even for the elephant eye, like this is it to me. This is my favorite move. How many human players are going to be able to see this, right? How many human players are going to be able to have the confidence, right, to say, okay, listen, you just go ahead and connect. You go ahead, have a nice day, you know, patting them on the head and sending them off. Like, how many human players would be able to control themselves to play a move like this and to think this globally instead of going for the attack? It's just mind-bending to me. I'm sure that this game will be analyzed by people stronger than me. So don't, you know, I'm not sitting here thinking that, like, you know, you're going to learn something or other which you can't learn anywhere else. I just kind of wanted to share my thoughts about this because I'm still kind of having some afterglow from all of the excitement that this game has brought. I mean, it's really brought the Go community together, and it's really brought a lot of eyes to this game. I mean, for someone like myself, I've been teaching Go for a very long time. Just, you know, for fun. I haven't actually, you know, I don't really charge anything for it. I've written 4 books on Go, and I'm continuing to write on Go, and I still play, and this is a very fundamental part of my life, right? It's very, very important to me, because just, you know, the game has done so much for me. I've met some of my best friends I've met from playing Go. It helped me through very, very difficult times in my life. I had some very difficult situations I had to deal with, and being able to feel I was successful at something, to be able to, like, Go gives you a feeling of success, right, when you're good at it. It gives you a feeling that, you know, you have improved, that you've done something that's really worthwhile and complex, and you've you've caught on. You are part of the human chain that figured out one piece of this infinitely complex puzzle, and that is deeply rewarding to me. And that's why I play this game, and that's why looking at this, why I'm so excited about AlphaGo is because it can help reveal so much more about this game and to help mold our own theories and to improve ourselves so vastly that I just can't wait. I mean, I hope they make a commercial version of this that people can buy. I'll be the first person in line. I'll wait outside in my tent outside of Walmart or whatever it takes to try and get it. So that's all I really wanted to share for today. I know everyone else is super excited about these developments. I don't know if they're going to play the remainder of the games. I mean, the AlphaGo already won the best 3 out of 5, but I still wanted to play more. I wanted to play the one I wanted to play is Kejie, the current like Chinese phenom, right? That already beat Sedol, Kejie, and I think that Kejie might give it a run for its money. But who knows? I mean, there's all other sorts of professional players I'm sure are lining up to play AlphaGo. My name is Jonathan Hop, and this is my thoughts on AlphaGo, and I'll see you next time I make a video. I hope you're watching.